Barely 100 meters separate mainland China from Hong Kong. On either side of this fence, families and friends meet for a few brief moments. Some have not seen each other since the start of the pandemic, when the border closed. This man from Hong Kong doesn't know when he will be reunited with his wife and son on the other side. He works in Shenzhen in China, but his family live in Hong Kong. Before the pandemic, he was able to cross the border every week, but now he's stuck here.
We do video calls, but it's nothing compared to seeing them in person. I've been away from my family for too long. I really miss them.
Entering China means 3 weeks quarantine, costing around €1,000. Crossing back and forth is impossible. It's tough, but he says it's unavoidable.
It has to be done. It's for the whole world, for ourselves, and for the country. I agree with the measures. We just have to make a few sacrifices.
Chinese people have been making a lot of sacrifices in the name of the country's zero-COVID policy. There's no question for the Chinese government of living with the virus, and the policy has worked. Official deaths from COVID since the start of the pandemic stand at fewer than 6,000. At the earliest positive case, authorities lock down, test and trace. In the city of Chengdu, contact cases are identified using GPS data on their smartphones. Spending just 10 minutes within 800 metres of a positive case can land you in quarantine. In November, just 10 cases of COVID rendered 82,000 people contacts. Mass testing and quarantine are obligatory, measures the residents approve.
These measures are necessary because all lives are precious and must be protected.
It's a pain. My neighborhood was all locked down, but what else can you do?
It's to keep everyone safe and to prevent the virus from spreading. It's very effective.
But the effectiveness comes at a price, paralysing entire cities like in Xi'an in the northwest. After around 200 cases were detected on December 23rd, 13 million inhabitants were locked down until further notice. Unless it was for testing, people were forbidden from going outside, even for shopping. Residents have been supplied by neighbourhood committees, but authorities acknowledge problems with supply lines. On social media, citizens have been complaining of hunger. The fight against COVID remains the priority, with sometimes controversial methods that go so far as public humiliation. These 4 manacled men were accused of helping foreigners cross into China from Vietnam. Their pictures and names hanging around their necks, they were marched through the streets as an example by police. The parade of shame drew condemnation from internet users and even state media. But critics of the zero-COVID policy are rare, even if it is likely to affect China's economic growth this year. One exception was this eminent virologist interviewed on Hong Kong TV.
We shouldn't systematically carry out mass testing. If the government persists with the zero-COVID policy for a handful of cases, I think the economy will suffer.
And Chinese authorities say the extreme contagiousness of the Omicron variant shows that they are right.
Some countries reacted very quickly when a few Omicron cases were detected, imposing very strict measures. Our experience over the past 2 years showed the Chinese method is the right one.
And confronted with Omicron, that method could get more robust. A challenge for foreign businesses in China who struggle to recruit abroad. Visa allocations have been reduced to a trickle, and more expatriates are leaving a country cut off from the world. But some businesses are taking advantage to concentrate on the domestic market, like this French public relations firm.
Ever since the start of the crisis in early 2020, our growth in mainland China has increased by 30 to 40%. We've also seen our wage bill grow.
In the past 2 years, all new hires have been Chinese, which can be an advantage.
Having more local employees means we have more local knowledge and contacts, and it gives us a greater understanding of the market and the culture here.
And the borders could remain closed for quite some time to come. More optimistic estimates say China is unlikely to reopen for at least another year.